ask that lady for help, Emil thought. She probably won't believe me. The man walked into the station square. He crossed the road. An electric tram with 2 carriages turned into the road from the right. The man got into the first carriage and sat down next to a window. Emil ran after the tram. The tram started moving as he reached the second carriage. He jumped on the tram, put his case in a corner, and stood in front of it. Cars hurried past the tram. There was a lot of noise, and there were a lot of people. There were newspaper boys at every corner, and wonderful windows filled with books, gold watches, shoes, and food. And the buildings were very, very high. So this is the city, Emil thought. He wanted to look at everything, but there was no time. The man with my money will get off the tram and escape into the crowd. Then everything will be hopeless, he thought. Emil thought about his grandmother. She was waiting for him at the ticket office in East Station. The tram stopped. Emil watched the carriage in front. A crowd of new passengers got on, but nobody got off. One man was angry because he fell over Emil's case. A man inside the tram was selling tickets. He rang the bell, and the tram moved again. Suddenly, Emil thought, "Oh no, I haven't got any money. If I can't pay for the ticket, I'll have to get off." He looked at the other passengers. "Can I say to one of them, 'Please give me some money for my ticket'?" he thought. One man was reading a newspaper. 2 others were talking about a bank robbery. "The thieves made a hole underground," one of them was saying, "and they went through the hole into the bank. They stole thousands of pounds." The other man laughed. "Who can believe what people say?" he asked. "Perhaps only a little money was taken." "No," thought Emil. "They won't believe me." The ticket man came nearer and nearer to Emil. "Tickets, tickets, please," he called out. People gave him their money and received their tickets. He reached Emil. "And you?" he asked. "I've lost my money, sir," Emil said. "Lost your money? I've heard that story before. And where do you want to go?" I don't know yet," said Emil. "Well then, get off at the next stop." "No, I can't do that. I must stay here, please, sir." "If I tell you to get off, you get off. Do you understand?" "Oh, give the boy a ticket," said the man who was reading a newspaper. He gave the ticket man some money, and Emil received his ticket. "A lot of boys tell me they've lost their money," said the ticket man. "Then they laugh at me behind my back." "This one won't laugh at you," said the man with the newspaper. "Thank you very much, sir," Emil said. "Oh, that's all right," the man with the newspaper said. "Excuse me, sir. Where do you live?" "Why do you want to know?" "I want to give you back your money. I'm staying here for a few weeks, so I can bring it to you. My name's Emil Fisher, from Newton." "Oh, forget about it," said the man. The tram stopped again. Emil watched. Did the man in the black hat get off? He saw nothing. The tram continued its journey. Emil looked at the beautiful wide roads. He had no idea where he was going. The thief was still sitting in the other carriage. Nobody seemed interested in Emil. Even the kind man was reading his newspaper again. The city was so large, and Emil felt so small. It didn't matter to anyone that he had no money. 2 million people lived in the city, and nobody was interested in his problems. What's going to happen? Emil thought. He felt very unhappy. Emil's grandmother and his cousin Polly were waiting for him at East Station. They were standing near the ticket office, looking at the time every minute. A lot of people passed them, carrying boxes, cases, and flowers, but not one of them was Emil. "Perhaps he passed us, and we didn't see him," said Polly. She stood on the platform with her shining new bicycle. She wanted to show it to Emil. "He'll want one too when he sees it," she thought. Polly's grandmother was worried. "What is the matter? What is the matter? I think the train arrived a long time ago." They waited a few more minutes, then Polly went to ask about the train. A man was standing at the gate, looking at people's tickets. "Has the train from Newton arrived yet?" Polly asked him. "Newton? Oh, yes," said the man. "That train arrived a long time ago." Polly went back to her grandmother and gave her the news. "Oh, dear, what's happened? What's happened?" the old lady said. "I think he got out at the wrong station," said Polly. "Boys are so stupid." They waited for another 5 minutes. "We can't stay here," said Polly. "The next train from Newton is in 2 hours. Let's go home now. I'll come back here on my bicycle and meet him." "I don't like it. I don't like it," said the old lady. When she was worried about something, she always said things twice. At home, Polly's father and mother didn't know what to do. Polly's father wanted to write to Emil's mother. "No, don't do that," said his wife. "Perhaps he'll be on the next train." "I hope he will," said Polly's grandmother, "but I don't like it. I don't like it." "I don't like it either," said Polly, shaking her head wisely. Chapter 4. Emil's friends make a plan. At last, the man in the black hat got off the tram. Emil picked up his case and the flowers, thanked the man with the newspaper, and followed the thief. The thief walked in front of the tram, crossed the road, and continued on the other side. The tram moved away, and Emil saw the man go into a cafe. "Now," thought Emil, "I must be very careful." There was a house at the corner of the road. He ran into the doorway. It was a good place to hide. From there, he could see the thief easily. Mr. Green was sitting close to the cafe window. He was looking very pleased with himself. He ordered some coffee. Emil didn't know what to do. "I can't stay here and watch the man. A policeman will come along and tell me to move," he thought. Suddenly, a horn sounded just behind Emil. He jumped and turned round quickly. A boy stood there, laughing at him. "Don't be afraid," said the boy. "Did you make that loud noise?" asked Emil. "Of course," said the boy. "You're not from here, are you? Everyone here knows me and my horn. I always carry it with me." "No, I'm not from here," said Emil. "I'm from Newton. I've just come from the station." "Newton? From the country? Is that why you're wearing those silly clothes?" "Don't talk like that, or I'll hit you," said Emil angrily. The other boy looked surprised. "I don't want to fight," he said. "It's too hot, but I will if you want to." "I haven't got time to fight now," said Emil. "I'm busy." "Busy? You aren't doing anything, just standing in this doorway." "Yes, I am," Emil answered. "I'm watching a thief." "What? Did you say thief?" "That's right," said Emil. He told the boy about losing all his money. "Wow, this is wonderful," said the boy as Emil finished the story. "It's like a detective film at the cinema. What are you going to do next?" "I don't know." "Look, there's a policeman over there. Let's tell him. He'll help you." "I don't think so," said Emil. "I did something wrong in Newton. I think the police want to catch me." "Oh, I see," said the boy. He thought for a minute, then said, "I'll help you, if you want me to." "I'd like that," said Emil. "My name's Paul," said the boy. "And mine's Emil." "Well, Emil," said Paul, "we must do something. Have you got any money now?" "Not a penny." Paul sounded his horn softly. It usually helped him think, but it didn't help this time. "Can you bring some of your friends here?" asked Emil. "Good idea," said Paul. "I'll run round to their houses and sound my horn. Then they'll come out and help us." "OK, but come back soon," said Emil. "If the thief leaves, I'll have to follow him. Then you won't know where I am." "That's true. But I don't think the man will leave yet. He's eating some eggs." Paul ran off. Emil felt much happier. Friends are a great help when you're in trouble. Emil watched the thief. He was enjoying his meal. Perhaps he was paying for the food with Mrs. Fisher's money. But things were different now. Emil had help at last. 10 minutes later, Emil heard the horn again. He saw about 20 boys coming up the road towards him. Paul was in front. "What do you think of this?" he asked Emil. "Great," said Emil, looking at all the boys. "I've told them what happened," Paul continued. He turned to the other boys. "This is Emil, and the man who stole his money is sitting in that cafe. He mustn't escape." "We'll soon catch him," said a boy with a loud voice. "This is the captain," Paul said. He then told Emil the names of all the other boys. "Well," said the captain wisely, "we must begin. First, everyone must give me their money." Each boy threw his money into Emil's cap. A very small boy called Little Tuesday put 5 pence into the cap. He was very excited, because it was his job to count the money. "We have 85 pence, Little Tuesday reported. 3 of us will keep the money. If we can't stay together, there'll always be someone with money." "Good idea," said the captain. He and Emil each kept 20 pence. Paul took the rest. Emil thanked everyone and said, "I'll return the money after we catch the thief. But I can't do much with this case and these flowers. I'd like to leave them somewhere safe." "Give them to me," said Paul. "I know the man who owns that cafe. I'll leave them with him. And I'll have a good look at the thief while I'm there." "Be careful," said the captain. "We don't want the thief to know you're watching him." When Paul came back, Emil said, "Now I think we should have a meeting, but not here. Everyone can see us." "We'll go over to the square and sit on the grass," said the captain. "But some boys must stay here and watch the thief. They can be the watchers. 2 can watch the cafe, and 5 or 6 others can stand along the road. If anything happens, they can run to the square. Then we'll come back here." "I'll choose the watchers," Paul said to Emil and the captain. "And I'll stay here too and watch the cafe. You take the rest of the boys with you. Hurry, it's getting late now." Paul chose the boys that he needed. The rest went to the square with Emil and the captain. They sat down on 2 long seats in the middle of the square by the grass. They all looked very serious. Then the captain began to speak in a loud voice. His father was a soldier and always spoke like that when he gave orders. "It's possible," the captain said, "that later we won't be able to stay together. If that happens, we'll need a telephone. Who has a telephone at home that they can use?" "I have," Little Tuesday called out. "My family's out at the cinema tonight." "And what's your telephone number?" the captain asked. "West 5478. The captain thought for a minute. He turned to a boy named John. "Take this pencil and paper. Cut the paper into 20 pieces. Write Little Tuesday's telephone number clearly on each piece. Then, Give everyone a piece of paper with the number on it. Little Tuesday's house can be our telephone office. Our detectives must telephone that office when anything new happens. And when we want to know the news, we can telephone that number too."
"But I'm not at home," said Little Tuesday.
"No, but you will be," the captain answered. "Listen to me. We'll finish talking, and then you'll go home and sit by the telephone. It's very important work." John gave out the pieces of paper. Each boy put his piece carefully in his pocket. The captain continued. "Some of you must follow the thief, but the others must stay here in the square. Then we'll know where you are. We'll find you if we need you. You can go home now. Tell your families that you'll be very late tonight. But one after the other, not all at the same time. John, you can go home with Little Tuesday. Run back here when there's something to report. I think that's all, isn't it?"
"We'll need something to eat," said Emil.
5 boys ran off to get some food.
"I think you're all being silly," said a boy called Peter. "You're talking about food and telephones, but we need to talk about catching this thief. How are we going to catch him?"
"Can we get his fingerprints?" said a boy who read a lot of detective stories.
"Of course not," said John.
"We can only hope to get back the money that he's stolen." "But if we steal the money from him," said the captain, "we'll be thieves too."
"That's right," said Emil. "It's wrong to take something from someone if he doesn't know about it."
"Okay, we've talked enough," said the captain. "Now let's do something. We don't know yet how we're going to catch this man, but one thing's sure. He must give back the money."
"I didn't understand what you said about stealing," said Little Tuesday. "How can I steal something that belongs to me? I own it, even if it is in another person's pocket."
"You're too young," said the captain. "You can't understand."
"Are you sure we can all be good detectives?" asked Peter. "We don't want the thief to know what's happening. He'll escape." "Yes, we'll need some good detectives," cried Little Tuesday. "That's why you need me. I can be a wonderful police dog, too. I can make a noise like a dog."
Nobody listened to him.
"Perhaps the thief has a gun," said Peter. "Then we need brave detectives," said Emil. "If anyone's afraid, they can go home to bed." Nobody moved. "There's one more thing," Emil continued. "I must send news to my grandmother. She doesn't know where I am. She'll go to the police, and we don't want that. Can someone take a letter to 15 Bridge Street for me?"
"I'll do it,"
said a boy called Robert. Emil asked for a pencil and paper. He wrote, "Dear Grandmother, you probably want to know where I am. Please don't worry. I am in the city. I cannot see you yet because I have some important business. But when everything is finished, I will come. Do not ask what this business is. The boy who is bringing you this letter is a friend. He knows where I am, but he cannot tell you because it is a secret. Give my love to Uncle, Aunt, and Polly. Your loving grandson, Emil." Emil wrote the number of the house and the name of the street on the other side of the paper. Robert took it. The captain gave him the money for his tram ticket, and Robert hurried away. The 5 boys came back with the food. Emil gave some food to each of the detectives. Some of the boys were still at home. Their families did not want them to come out again. The captain gave them all a secret word.